Alright, hey, hi, hello. How's it going, guys? My name is ZetaRayZod, and welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, before I begin, be sure to like, subscribe, and get the bell on to stay up to date on all my latest videos. So, last we left off, we are here at Natsume-san's building, if you remember Natsume-san. And it's because this guy got murdered, that guy just hanging out on the table right there. And, oh, it kind of points towards Natsume again. But we just need to find out more details first and see. So we've already looked around here. I guess we will move on to... We got 3 other places to go. I think we will go to... Let's go to Briar Road first. That's the reason. Let's examine around. Damn. With the exception of the top floor where Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb live, all the windows are bricked up. Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows the property had. In order to pay last tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows. But the tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely. Unfortunately, it appears that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done. Yeah, that is a sad state of affairs. Especially for people like poor Mrs. Natsume, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room. I suppose that's the price you pay for living in very cheap accommodation. It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that. But that's the soap. They're just hanging out. There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garrideb residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment, in fact. That one seems very warped though, especially the front wheel. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think? No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly afflicted. Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing on his bicycle, I think. Oh dear, I fear you may be right. Cool, what the frick? Bicycles? Do Japan not have bicycles at the moment? I don't know. The Garrideb household and Mr. Natsume's lodgings are in a prominent position there in the corner. Sometimes when I look at the building, I can't help feeling that it's at a bit of a slant. Oh, you're right, it is. It does rather look as though it would collapse in even the smallest earthquake, doesn't it? And isn't it supposed to be haunted as well? Think about it, if a hunch as to why Saseki-san is such a hunchback. Yeah, look at that. This beam is so warped. Jeez. This thing is old. London's blanketed and foggy again today, and the sky is covered in cloud. But if you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower being built. Oh, the Crystal Tower, yes! The centerpiece of the Great Exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time. Everyone's talking about the Great Exhibition of London at the moment, it seems. Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself. Do you think visiting students from the Far East like us will be granted entry? The last great exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success, to outdo the Paris exposition. I see. It's a incredible number of people. With so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed. It's always the honest approach to buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, bro, it's not like... Unless they're like... racist and like no Asians or something like that. Is the snowman the only thing we can look for? Yep, snowman. Why somebody built this snowman on some sort of pedestal, do you think? It's not a pedestal, Mr. Naruhodo. That's part of the snowman's body. Really? But he has a perfectly good body. Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made of 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this is foreigner. Now we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man. I know how he feels. If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowmen that are strange ones, isn't it? After all, real people do have 3 sections. Head, torso, and legs. Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much? That's true. I kind of grew up thinking it's always been 3. Has it always... British think it's 2? Interesting. Japanese people think that too. Okay, I think we've looked at everything. Nothing significant that can help us, to be honest. Let's go to Garrideb's room then. I think the wife's in prison. Oh, look. Wait, were those shells always there? You can see it on the mantelpiece, those like cannonball shells. Here we are again. The eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode. We're here because Mr. Garrideb's the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't forget. Hey, buddy. Ah, you chaps, eh? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It's quite a trial. Oh, right. This is happening right after the trial of Natsume, so his wife just went to jail. Jesus. As much for Mr. Garrideb as anyone, really. Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning. I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garrideb. Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room. Dead loss? Those were exactly Inspector Grex's words, weren't they? Where'd that cup go? Cool, I'm just gonna look around. Ah, yes. Those enormous mortar shells. It's quite something seeing them up close, isn't it? Didn't you say something about firing them to the barracks, Mr. Garrideb? Ah, you remember, do you? Just a little mishap that occurred during training one day. His pipe is scrunched up. How the hell is that possible? What are you doing firing on your own men? The captain bellowed at me. I'm not surprised. A little mishap doesn't really do it justice, does it? Look at that! Did you freaking see that? His pipe was like bent like that and then... Oh, is it because he had it wrapped around? Maybe because it's wrapped around, that's why you can bend it. Oh, I think the wife threw something at him, right? And that's why he got stuck. That's why he broke. Well, one has these little incidents when one's a hot-headed young private. Perhaps I should put some evidence that resulted from one of my little mishaps on display. Oh, does the great lawyer like the great detective want to exhibit some trophies of his finest moments? What do I have? What trophies do I have? I got none. You know what that screen is hiding now? The aftermath of that fiery altercation the other day. Don't suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now. Oh dear, this must be a very difficult situation for you. I'll say, people talk about twists of fate and whatnot. But this is a twist and a half. Run show all around. He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened. Yeah, his wife's in jail. I feel like I get that there's like stuff to look at around here, but I feel like it's not gonna push the story forward, so I'm just gonna not do it. I'm just gonna talk to this guy. Must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened. Ah, well, that hopeless act chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bally answer. And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door? Well, I called on that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? Man could have just overslept by half an hour. That's very true, Mr. Naruto. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning. Oh, Jesus. Well, you know, better to be safe than sorry and all that. Is it just BOC avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden? Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door. Mr. Shamspear. I think his name's Mr. Shamspear, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shamspear. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now. No, not that long ago either. And how would you describe him? In a word, destitute. Destitute? Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bally screw loose. So hard to choose which category Saseki-san would fall into. Maybe both. Mr. Naruto, it's a little rude. I thought I was whispering, or I was thinking in my head. He was doing research as well. Research into what? Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that. That's not it. That's Romeo and Juliet, my bro. Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, as you know. Many of his works have already been translated. Seems incredible that Shakespeare shortened to Sao, though. Someone's too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in a victim's room, actually, weren't there? And of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shamsbury would have had much in common. Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that. Mr. Naruhodo, really, how rude. Okay, yesterday's events. After Mrs. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between them and this morning? Well now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember. It was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time. Scared I've noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shamspear got back, and the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. I suppose he met his end at some time after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark here. How did you know he was sleeping that time, though? Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Sato? Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garrideb, you were up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly? I'm not a big fan of stairs, not with this blasted leg. Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean. Yeah, exactly. Oh! That's a very good point. Can't imagine that you could hear noise from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's a bally outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I? And how did you know, Mr. Garrideb? It's the gas woman. The gas tells me everything. The gas? Speaking gas? Of course not. I'm assuming because Shamspear's on the ground floor, he has access to that box. So he turns on the gas and stuff. What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything? Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes. Yes, I more or less worked that out. Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main. Okay, yeah, I get that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously the room would get brighter. Exactly. But at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms in the house would dim for a moment. What? They dim? Why? Perhaps because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it? Yeah, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe. Is that supposed to happen, though? That's rather undesirable. Jolly good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless, long worn out. Barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of their house. Oh. Alright, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. You've got it. Interesting. Oh, of course, because when people come back home in the evening, before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires. Clever. In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house. Gosh. That's fascinating, Mr. Garrideb. Absolutely fascinating. Oh, well, nothing to it, really. And I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garrideb's so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. I guess that's it. Do you want to see soap? Mr. Garrideb, should I show you this? Been quite a couple of days, as you can imagine. I'm afraid I'm rather tired. I haven't really got the energy in the old eyeballs, to be honest with you. Some other time, then. Okay. I think I've... shit. Should we look around again? We might have to look around. I don't know. Yeah, I don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Okay, let's not. Maybe we don't have to. I feel like the game might make you check everything first before they let you move on. But let's go to prison. That's me, son. Here we are again. Oh, he's not even here. Sholmes' suite? Nope. Miss Green's still here? She's not. Yeah, I think I gotta look at everything. Unfortunately. Alright, let's do it. Lion. You look very dashing in your uniform there. Oh, right. Ah, that old portrait, eh? Drawn by an art student who used to rent the room downstairs. Oh, you look so wonderfully young, and courageous, and strong. Yes, well, the chap presented it to me one day and asked if I'd let him off the month's rent in return. Oh, I see. So, you did, presumably? Presumably? I bolly well did not. Jesus. Oh. Portrait is portrait, but rent is rent. Eh? And yet it's still there, proudly on the wall. Good to see Mr. Garrideb's Medal of Honor so proudly displayed on the wall. The inscription reads, for distinguished participation, if you remember. Yeah, I remember. Because I remember thinking, even I might stand a chance of picking up honors like that. Wouldn't know it to look at me now. But perhaps, but I've had my devil-may-care days, you know. Devil-may-care? What did you get up to? Well, all in the past now, of course. And best left there. Best not. I want to know now. Spill the tea, Garrideb. That's your military uniform, isn't it, Mr. Garrideb? Well, ceremonial garb, yes. Been hanging on the wall ever since my retirement bash. Not in active service now, you know. Doesn't mean much to me anymore. You could have the old thing if you wanted it. Oh. Well, it might suit Lord Van Zeek, perhaps. An overly ostentatious outfit like this could be just what he needs. Very tactful, Mrs. Sato. Very tactful indeed. Books. Oh, copy of Rand's magazine. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes is being read all over London. Isn't it wonderful? Naturally, one asks oneself if such a singular detective could really exist. But having met the chap, it's undeniable. He's most certainly singular. Singularly dangerous. That's genuine public opinion for you, Mrs. Sato. Perhaps it should be reflected in the stories. Make no mistake, Miss Naruhodo. I intend to snuff out the sort of public opinion we just heard, personally. Sorry to see where Mr. Sholmes' untainted reputation comes from now. It just beats people to death with it. Say he's good! Just like punching someone in the face. Okay! These shelves look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast. We know what happened. Reminds you of the Battle of Maywan, don't you know? Oh, the experiences of a seasoned veteran. And we had it surrounded on all sides. Really thought we were done for. Whole bally company. We're taking a real pounding from the cannons, so all we can do is run for our lives. Oh, I thought that story was going in a different direction, actually. Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you. When you're done for, you've really done for. Ugh, someone a lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear. And then the cakes. It's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there. I feel sure that was full of cakes when we first investigated here as well. Yes, quite right. Haven't touched it since. Haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. Thought time's rather stood still for me, you know. Oh. Time has stood still. Now that's an interesting phrase. Might be able to use that excuse when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office. You could just tidy up, Miss Naruhodo. Oh, in the window. There's a good view of the wintry East End from up here. It's an oppressively grey scene. Surely nothing comparable in Japan. And down below, Briar Road. partly blanketed in snow. And the pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by that knife. Thinking about it, this is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes, Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it? I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first. Imagine how an Englishman would feel on arriving in Japan and seeing people with chonnage tapna. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, how come Naruhodo doesn't have one? I think we've seen everything, right? Can we go to prison now? Nope. What the heck? Is there things I haven't looked at yet? Oh, fire. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs on a warm blanketed table so comforting. Do be careful, Miss Naruhodo. Don't mistakenly put your feet to the fire, will you? You'd suffer terrible burns, you know. I worry sometimes about how Susato-san sees me. She's like, he's a fool! Wait, didn't I look at all these already? Look at all these mementos of Mrs. Shome's past cases. You know, Mrs. Sato's eyes still sparkle every time she lays eyes on them. But yours don't, do they, Runo? Well, I have read The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes now, by order of Mrs. Sato. But the trouble is, having seen the real thing in action, somehow, the stories don't quite ring true for me. Well, he does solve the cases, in the end. I suppose so. Perhaps it's more to the great detective than meets the eye. Oh wait, I think I looked at this stuff in the pre-flashback. In the present time, so I think I have to look at all this again. Curious how these enormous metal chests being used as a coffee table. And even more curious to think that Iris's father's notes about Mr. Sholmes' case are inside it. But then look in there, Runo. Those notes are secret between Daddy and me. Mrs. Sholmes didn't somehow in on the secret. Hardly tends to forget, you see. As soon as he solved the case, in fact. Once when you read one of my manuscripts, we had a terrible argument about it. Never have I solved such a case, he said. He's absolutely out of it. Sometimes I wonder if he's from another planet. Oh, sometimes I wonder if he's from another planet, don't you? Do I have to look at everything? Oh, come on. Notice machine takes up the entire desk, isn't it? It's really... I'm just gonna, like, skip through this because we've kind of gone through this already. I haven't seen anyone actually using it because he doesn't know how to use it. So I don't know how to operate it. Why don't you get to analyze its own operation then? Sure. The guitar. I said guitar. It's the violin. Stradivarius. Showed you something. Stradivarius. Wonderful instrument features in the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. It's a world-famous Stradivarius. Stradivarius, Mr. Naruhodo. Stradivore. Are you even trying now? We'll come back to this another time, I think. Then the clutter up here. So all sorts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. It looks as though it might topple, and yet it doesn't. The epitome of Mrs. Sholmes' brilliance. I don't get it. As it happens, I'm quite well practiced when it comes to stacking shelves myself. Just the other day, the shelf in my office finally gave way under the strain, though. It looks as though it might topple, and it does. Yeah, epitome of a disarray. I really don't get it. It's a fine balance now, you gotta get it. Okay, have we seen everything here? Yeah. Okay, a bit more over here. Oh, she's typing. Look, strikes me how pretty and neatly arranged this is. Oh, look, at least she leaves the desk. Not like, you know, some games are just like, they're a bit too lazy, they'll just leave her there still typing. But no, it's my favorite one. In fact, I think it's high time for afternoon tea. Wait there, I'll fetch this special blend I prepared for today. Oh, Iris, you do love your tea, don't you? She looks so happy at the prospect. And after you've drunk it, I'll collect some experimental data, if that's alright. Just what is she about to make me drink? Is it like pee? Is she gonna collect pee? Charming little white shelf, full of charming little bottles too. Oh yeah, but don't touch any of those. You might explode. Oh, charming shelf full of charming bottles, full of charring ingredients. You know, Hurley mistakenly drank from one of them the other day. What? And how? I think he's lucky though. He hasn't exploded yet. Chemistry can be a very hazardous occupation. Living with Mrs. Shelms is a hazardous occupation, if you ask me. Okay, I think... Wait. Shit, there's no more. Ah, yes. This is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? So what's on the blackboard today? Buck up, Bruno. What is this? Oh, I'm just playing around with ideas for the title of next month's installment. Another idea I had was the barrel coronet. Really torn about which one to use. What do you think, Bruno? Anything but buck up Bruno, obviously. I suppose you're right. I'll tell you what, I'll surprise you with it. You'll have to wait until next month and see. So many sleepless nights. Okay, last but not least, let's have a chat with Iris herself. Iris. That's incredible concentration, that is. I find it quite remarkable how she can focus on so many different things at once. Perhaps I should try drinking more herbal tea. Blend third from the right will be good for you, Bruno. Oh, Iris? This girl is destined for great things, I'm sure. She's like phases out every now and then. Oh crap, there's more. If I remember correctly, this large imposing lump of iron is called a typewriter. I think that every single one of the adventures of Sherlock Holmes blossomed from this very machine. Such a dreamy thought. I actually had a go on it the other day. Metal bars that moved when you hit the keys got all tangled up somehow. That made Iris angry. Mr. Naruhodo, you're ruining my dreamy thoughts. Please don't do that again. Now I've made Sato-san angry as well. Okay, I'm pretty sure I've looked at everything. Can I go to prison? Oh shit, no. Let me be clear, can I go visit someone in prison? Can I go to prison? Please tell me he's there. Oh, what the frick? I don't know. What else am I not looking at? I've asked him everything. Unless there's something I haven't examined yet. Oh, the cannon. There's a single apron dragging that enormous cannon-shaped clothes horse. Look. No, Miss Naruto. That's a real cannon. I knew that. I was just testing you. Piece of history, that is. Seen plenty of action on the battlefield, I can tell you. Now the old girl and I are just enjoying the peace and quiet of retirement altogether. And of course, should come in handy if the enemy decide to launch an attack again. You mean Japan in like a couple decades? Is there a war going on that I don't know about? Oh, that's everything, right? That has to be everything. Okay. Can we go to prison now? Nope. What the frick? Why do you make me look at things? This music reminds me of, I don't know if you guys know the game, but this music reminds me of the Legend of Mana. It's like a PS1 game. Super nice. The music was amazing. God, I don't know. Shamspeare? Have I not seen something in Shamspeare's room? Still there. Police are like, he's already dead. What's the rush? Ah, that thing. What's this? Looks like part of an envelope, I think. Yeah, I think you might be right. Perhaps it's torn up and the letter is open. Is that significant? Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter. The rest of the envelope, in fact, is there. Oh, she's right. And yet here we have the torn up end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual. Agree. Better take this just in case. I mean, it could have been. They could have just thrown it away later. Okay, I think that's all the evidence I need. But let's have a look. Is there anything that can tell us what it is? Can't find anything out of place. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they? Yeah, whoever opened it was clearly someone of an unrefined temperament. Judging from the angle of the rip here, the person in question must have been right-handed. I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You can never read too much of it based on how never! I can see why she thinks it's right-handed, because if you're looking at the envelope like that, shit, how do I angle this? Like that. So you would have torn it off like that in your right hand. Then again, I tear things off in my right hand and I'm left-handed. So, am I just a weird one? What the hell is this? This part of it is a different color. It's exquisite design, isn't it? Trust the British to turn a boring bar of soap into something special. I quite like it. Despite the Hinomaru design of the Japanese flag, I expect this is rather expensive soap. Doesn't seem likely given who it belongs to. I think it's just something that's lodged in it, actually. But whatever. But okay, you know what? I think that's the piece we need to go talk to Natsume. Wait, you know what? Let's try it out. If not, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Ah, frick, I don't know. I guess I'll just look around a bit more and see. Maybe I'm missing something. But for now, I think I'll leave this episode here. So, if you like what you see and you like what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, and get that bell on so you stay up to date on all my latest videos. As always, be safe, take care, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace!